Hey everyone, in this episode, I'm interviewing Jake again from Newks Hot Sauce out of Portland, Oregon. Last time we tried to have our interview, we had some technical difficulties between audio and visual and just didn't think it was the quality you deserve, so we gave it another shot. So whether you watched it last time or not, I definitely think this is worth checking out. Enjoy. Hey everyone, Matt here from Fire and Flavor. I am with Jake from Newks out of Portland, Oregon. We tried to do an interview a couple weeks ago and we had some difficulties, so we're going for it again. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Glad to be back with no technical problems.
Technical farts or anything. So we're just gonna pretty much go over what we went through before, and probably gonna delete that. So you're gonna hear it again if you did before, or you're gonna hear it for the first time. So why don't we just start at the beginning, man? Where'd you, when, and why, and how?
Yeah. So Nuke started in 2020. It was right before the pandemic started, is when I filed for the LLC. And for the first year, it was sort of like a part-time hobby, and then quickly became a full-time job. And flash forward 5 years, in a nutshell, we do a bunch of farmers markets right here in Portland, Oregon, and some of the suburbs here. And yeah, we're nationally distributed in some stores and staying pretty active. So there's a lot has happened in 5 years. So
Yeah, and I had bought your sauce, I think in 2021, I had bought the banana Carolina Reaper sauce, and it has been one of my favorites. And then I stopped buying hot sauce for a bit because I had so much. And then now I'm buying it again. And when I started doing this, your company came to mind pretty much immediately. So that's pretty dope, man. Your brand definitely does stand out against others. Do you have a favorite flavor?
um, I love them all, sort of like choosing a favorite kid, I would assume. But lately, I've been using the two newest ones that we've made, which is the dill pickle hot sauce and the Blazin Raisin. But I really do love them all.
It's awesome. And I do have both of those right here, and we'll be trying them. If I can get that to focus on my end here. Yep, there we go. So this is the Grillo's Pickles. Let's talk about this one for a second. So this is an actual collaboration made with actual Grillo's pickles.
It is. I'm glad you brought them because I don't have any bottles. I'm also in my fiance's art studio right now. This is not. I'm not also an artist for those watching, but yeah. So that is a formal collaboration with Grillo's Pickles. I'm old friends with one of the founders, Eddie Andre. I guess founder is an appropriate title sometimes, but he's the president of the brand, I believe, is the formal uh, name or whatever. But yeah, I go way back with those guys from living in Boston at around 2008, 2009. And when I started Nukes, I reached out to him, reconnected, and we made the collaboration happen. Took a few years to get it off the ground, but we launched it last year. No, two summers ago, and it's become like one of our staple sauces for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites out of the lot that I have. I mean, I do like them all, but as you can see, I've eaten quite a bit, and we'll be having some more later. I used this on salad, as you saw before, and yeah, it was freaking awesome, dude. And also, so you had mentioned the Blazin Raisin.
Yeah, that's our most recent flavor. We launched it last year. There's a medium and then there's an extra hot, which is the same exact recipe, just with more Carolina Reaper peppers.
Yeah, on this little thermometer, it's like way up there. And actually, let me show the other one, the Grillo sauce. And it's about midway. And I would agree with those.
That's good. It's subjective. Spice is subjective, so
It's subjective. That is very true. How do you come up with the names for your sauces, man? Like how do these come to mind? Like chocolate, for instance.
The chocolate one was easy because it's a collab with chocolate skateboards, so we just used their logo. I mean, I also just call that the Blazin Raisin as well. It is the Blazin Raisin, but it that one's very chocolate presented with their branding. But also, I guess the name the Blazin Raisin, I just came up with that one because I thought it would be fun to have a sauce called the Blazin Raisin. I was on tour with my friends in a band called Elder, and the opening band was called Resin, and we had sort of an ongoing joke all tour that we would make a hot sauce for them one day that's raisin based, and sure enough, we actually did, and we did do that collaboration. Um, I don't know, just a funny punny name, and the other ones, I don't know. Never really put too much thought into the names for the sauces. They're pretty straightforward, I would say. The Elder Fire Mango is kind of fun. I've had people say it sounds like a video game or like something like that, but that was nice because of the elderflower syrup and also a collaboration with the band Elder. It worked out well. But yeah, the names they come pretty quick and stick, you know.
So, like, you do a lot of band collaborations. This has been a big thing with your company, I think, as well. Because last time we spoke, you had mentioned you'd done another sauce with another band, right?
Yeah, we have done a lot of those. I think it just happens because I come from the world of music and recording, and I used to play a lot of guitar and jam with friends in punk bands and psychedelic rock bands, and it's just where I come from. So naturally, those connections are already existing in my life, and some of those friends have really great bands, and they want to bring something out for their fans. So it's a fun way to make something like that happen. So yeah, we've done quite a few, and we have quite a few on deck as well.
Cool, man. Um, so why don't you walk me through kind of like, or walk us all through rather, what it's like to create a new flavor for Nukes? Like, what's your process and how do you think it through?
Um, it's every flavor is different. Some of them have taken a long time and a lot of different rounds of trying things and taking notes and getting feedback from friends and fans before locking in something that feels completely ready to roll. Probably an average of maybe 5 to 6 test batches before I feel like I've got something that's getting really close. And then there's been some that take really only a couple batches. Like the Blazin Raisin was pretty much right out the gate. I had a really strong vision, and all the things just came together that day, and was really happy with the first batch. So there wasn't a lot to do. Our sauces are not traditional; they're pretty unusual arrangements of flavors and ingredients. So there's a lot of tweaking and stuff going on in the beginning stages. Right now, I'm trying to come up with a couple small batches, and I've gone through 2 test batches of 2 flavors, and they still need work for sure. So I'm not really sure when they're going to be ready, and I'm not going to rush it. But I'm hoping to have 2 new small batches of like a one-off sauce this summer.
Cool. I'm going to have to try those.
Yeah, for sure. I'll send you some.
So, what would you say is like your hardest sauce to make?
The hardest sauce to make would probably be the one you like the most, the banana habanero with Carolina Reaper. Just because it's so spicy and the peppers are just not necessarily fun to work with unless you're like really zoned in. And um I mean, if you're not careful cooking with Carolina Reapers, especially in an abundance of making like a 60-gallon batch, you're definitely opening yourself up to some serious pain, whether it's processing the peppers or like inhaling the fumes when washing the dishes at the end of the day. Like, so those things are definitely hard. Uh, I would say, yeah, that one's because of the spice level. That one is usually pretty heavy duty and pretty intense when cooking.
Yeah, and it is very unique. I know I've said it a couple times. It kind of reminds me of eating like really spicy baby food. That's because he uses bananas in it, and it's just like I don't know. It's really good, dude. I love it. It makes me happy.
I'm taking that as a compliment for sure. Spicy baby food.
A big compliment, dude. Um, so this one's your first sauce, right?
The hot pepper sauce, it's a variation of our first sauce. So the original is called the Kinda Mild, and it is the same exact recipe as that, but without the Reaper pepper. And then quickly after we launched the first sauce, we made the hotter version. Uh, yeah. So we still have the Kinda Mild in stock, but it's the hot seems to be the crowd pleaser because people want that level of spice. So we offer two different versions.
Okay. So, like, how do you find that balance between like heat and flavor and what people want? Like, how do you refine what you're creating for people to try?
I honestly I don't I try not to think too much about what other people are gonna how they're gonna respond to it. I just want to make something kind of tasty and unique and something different than nobody else has made, as far as I know. And then um, I guess at this point, now that we have multiple flavors, I do try to find like if we have a bunch of spicy stuff, I should probably make a mild, or if we have a bunch of mediums, we should probably make something hotter. But honestly, it's like when I'm cooking, I almost always want a medium heat personally, medium to a little spicy. So that's kind of where I land when I'm making a flavor. And from there, I choose if I want it to be hotter or not. And it honestly is just as simple as adding more peppers to make it hotter, or adding a sweeter component to bring it down, or more like neutral flavors to make it more mild. It's not super complex.
Just kind of finding the place you want it to be, I guess. Especially if you don't really worry too much about other people's feedback, because all that stuff is kind of it is subjective, in terms of heat. That could mean anything for anyone, and also like flavor. If you're making it, you gotta like it. You know what I mean? Like, I know I wouldn't make something I don't like to sell to people. But, I'm not making the bomb. You're not making the bomb.
I'm not making the bomb. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to toot the Newks horn or whatever, but I do love all the flavors, and I use Newks almost pretty much every single day. So um, it's just the flavors that I want to eat. So that's where it's coming from. It's great when people respond positively to them, but the first year maybe I cared more about those things. I would like hang on to every single person's reaction at the farmer's market of that's not really that hot, and I get in my head and be like, wow, I need to make this so much hotter because, but then you do, and then you get the response of like, whoa, that's way too hot. And so at the end of the day, you just kind of have to trust yourself and your recipe, and just enjoy it and not think too much, and just roll and have fun. So
If people are gonna like it, they're gonna like it regardless of how hot or not it is. You know what I mean? If you're making a good sauce, making a good sauce. And that's
yes.
what it is at the end of the day. So like yeah, it is nice to get the feedback, but at the same time it's like, am I gonna enjoy it if I take this feedback into consideration? I wanted to step back a moment and talk about these two sauces, the chocolate and the Blazin Raisin. So they are the same sauce, just one has a higher um amount of Carolina Reaper and chocolate habanero in it.
Hmm.
But I will say, after eating them both, I think one of them, and I'll remind myself after, the blackberries come out a little more. I noticed it more in the Blazin Raisin, that I noticed more blackberry flavor than in the chocolate. I could be having it mixed up. I'll let you know when we get to that point. But I
Mm.
did find that very interesting because it's probably the same levels, but I don't know why I just noticed it more. Maybe because my mouth was already on fire. So I was like, ooh, something else.
Yeah, it could have been. I think when we make that sauce, I think it has always been we are making the regular blazing raisin, and then we stop midway and add peppers and then make an extra hot version. I don't know if there's ever been a day where we're just making the extra hot today, but I can't remember fully at this point.
I
So,
wonder if it's just like like the part of the batch I got. Even though it should be all even, but I just like it might have just been because my mouth was literally way more on fire.
well, I mean, who knows? It could be some sort of alchemy within the pot where if you add more reapers, it boosts the flavor of blackberries. I don't, it could be. Yeah, I'm not sure.
How long does it usually take you to go from like creating a flavor to getting it bottled up and ready to sell? Once you're like happy with it, the flavor's refined.
Not super long. Once it's refined and ready, it's just a matter of taking two bottles and sending it to a process authority, which is the person that does like a pH test and a couple other tests to uh, send you what's called a process authority letter. And then, not to get too inside baseball here, but I'm sure some folks watching this are interested in making their own hot sauce company, which I think is super fun. And when I started, it was really hard to find this information. So you do that. You make two bottles. You send it in. You pay, I think, usually around $300, and then you get responses within a week or two with your letter, and that basically is saying that you're allowed to now make this, um, if you did it right. If the pH is, an acidified food product, which is usually 4.1 or below, and then I basically just call the co-packer and I book a date on the calendar where they're open, and then scale up the recipe from my home pot to a giant kettle, get all the ingredients ordered, plan a trip, and get into the kitchen and make it big time. And I I always am there for the first like three or four big batches of a new recipe and dial things in, because when you scale up, it can change quite a bit, and then you gotta kind of dial things in subtly. But it doesn't take super long once you get it going. At least from my end on how things work for us.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
You had to initially like take a class to like have that all to get started, right? Is like a food safety class basically.
Yeah, I took an online course from the University of Georgia and got certified as a food processor and got my acidified food license. It's called a better process school, I believe is what it's called, something like that. And that was a few $100 and pretty like intense, like information and tests that you have to do on every chapter. But I think it took me a couple weeks to get through, and then you just get it done once and you're good to go. So
That's dope.
yeah.
That's not too bad. You have to do something like that here too in New Hampshire, and in New Hampshire you also have to send it up to. I told you before, the University of Maine as well.
Right.
You have
and
to
that's
send it out here, and
and that's my hometown, University of Maine.
it take yeah, it takes like a couple weeks to get your results back, but more or less the whole process is very similar to here. For where you are. And so like let's actually talk about how you got started, right? Cuz you kind of got started doing this in your apartment and then it kind of got so big you had to move on to a co-packer, and you mentioned is probably one of the best things that's happened for your company.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we started in my one bedroom apartment in North Portland, and it was absolutely insane. Uh, it started very small. I would get one case at a time on the internet, and I would make 12 bottles and learn the craft and how to make it. And I hand poured everything with a little funnel, and spilt half the batch all over my counter, and got war story for days on that. But slowly ramped up, got a bigger pot, got the home license. In Oregon, you can actually get a home license to actually make hot sauce and sell it and run your business out of your home, even a one bedroom apartment. So the kitchen I had to start Newks was half the size of this room, and I did the first year of business all by myself in that apartment. So it's probably about 10,000 bottles the first year, just me. And I'm not trying to like get up on my high horse about it, just telling you that that's possible, and that's how it started. And then it got to a point where it's just I clearly needed to use a co-packer, or I needed to expand, and I tried commercial kitchens and had some different types of experiences with that, like some wins and some losses with that, and then I just found myself um, going to a co-packer and having that make a lot more sense. It was hard. It was hard at first, but after really starting a relationship with them, it's been super helpful, because now we can just at this point call them and basically say we need a batch made of this sauce. They've made it, 20 to 30 times. They know what to do. The produce supplier drops it off, and then, I don't even have to be there half the time anymore, which is really good. And the quality is just as good as it was when I was doing it myself. So there's been no loss in quality, which I think a lot of people get scared about when they switch to a co-packer.
Right. And I think you'd mentioned before that actually for this used to be more of a liquidy sauce, right? And they don't do the fine blending there. You were saying like it is very finely blended, but you can see materials in here, right?
Yeah. So like when I first started, I used to take a like a ninja, one of those things, and just put every single thing through it till it was down to like a really fine texture, like a Tabasco or something. And if people don't know Nukes, we use like carrots, we use garlic, tomatoes, like we use beets, we use like some pretty coarse ingredients. So we would blend the shit out of them and get them down to this fine thing. And then when we switched to the co-packer, they didn't do that, and I was like almost having a heart attack, thinking everyone's gonna think it tastes different and the quality's gonna go down and nobody's gonna like this anymore. It was like a scary thing, and then nobody batted an eye. They were like, I actually really like the chunks of carrots in here. It's like showcasing the natural ingredients, and I agree. So like leaning into that stuff has been great. I mean, there were so many learning curves. The first time I met them, my co-packer and I, we still laugh about this to this day, that we take pride in like not using any artificial stuff like a lot of hot sauce companies do. And so going down to the lime juice, I used to always hand squeeze limes. So I'd cut every lime in half and squeeze it into the pot when I'd make like 20 to 100 bottles at the house. And then when we scaled up to a big batch of like 1,200 bottles, I had my first date with a co-packer, and I brought like 50 boxes of limes, like an insane amount of limes, because I didn't want to get the lime juice at the store that had the citric acid or whatever the fuck was the thing that made it unnatural. And I was like holding on to that. And he still to this day is like, hey, Jake, remember that time when you stood in the corner and you squeezed limes for 8 hours straight? And I really did that. And he was like, you need to figure this out. And because he didn't give a shit about like the natural ingredients for his own sauce line and stuff like I do. And I was like, well, this is my standard. Like, this is just how it's going to be. But then I quickly found out that there are all natural lime juices that are hand squeezed. They're just in the refrigerator and not on the shelf. So, and they're like $20 more or whatever. But like, that was a learning curve for sure. So now, obviously, I don't squeeze every lime, and we can still get an all natural 100% lime juice without any preservative inside of it. So,
That's actually
yeah.
hysterical, man. That's how you can tell that you actually care about what you're doing is you're like hand squeezing hundreds of limes.
8 hours. I'm not exaggerating.
So like you help your co-packer though with the first few batches basically until they're like, all right, we can make this blindfolded at this point pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. I've gone up mostly because every company seems to have a different dynamic with their co-packer, but I can only speak for ours. But I basically have to be there at 7 in the morning with all the produce. They're not going to go bring it. They're not going to buy it. I need to either work with a third party to deliver it to them, or I need to show up myself with the produce. So for the first maybe year and a half, 2 years of working with them, I would just get a shitty hotel and I would drive up there and I'd drop off all the ingredients and I'd work all day with them. I did that over and over for at least a year or two, until I found a company that's down the street from them that they work with that can provide a lot of the produce. So I go up still, um, but it has gotten to the point now where I don't really have to, but sometimes I do. Sometimes there's certain ingredients that I have on me that they can't access or whatever, and I got to go up. So yeah.
So like, what's it like for you to get like ingredients like chocolate habaneros or chocolate Carolina Reapers? You know, because Blazin Raisin and chocolate have both of those peppers in it, and
Mhm.
those aren't necessarily easy peppers to come by. Like, let me just peep this real quick. It's not powders you're using, right? You're actually using pods.
For the chocolate habaneros and chocolate Carolina Reapers, I used a company called Magic Plant Farms online. Um, I use them a lot for getting those types of powders and peppers because, like you said, you can't really find them a lot of the time. So they're great for that. And I will just order, what's needed for each batch for that one. But the Carolina Reapers, we can sometimes find fresh or we can sometimes find mashes. Otherwise, I'll go to specialties shops online. Like, yeah, Magic Plant is usually my go to for that. They have a good reputation.
They are good. I've used them before actually for Trinidad Scorpion mash and Reaper mash because, you could grow Reapers, but like they take forever. So why not?
Did they send you like a bucket with vinegar, like a brine?
No, I had ordered it was like a small jar because I was only making like
Okay.
really small, maybe like 50 bottles of hot sauce at a time for
Hmm.
giving to friends and family and stuff kind of thing. So like I don't know, we would barely even go through that because we're just making such small batches. But I think
Yeah.
probably within the next year or so, I plan on starting to make sauce again. I under this name, Fire and Flavor. So
There we
like it's
go.
kind
That's what
of
I'm talking
yeah,
about.
man. You guys hear it first here. So yeah, dude. I'm definitely gonna be hitting them up again and ordering from them because I did like their products. What I use is just a little like jar that looked like it had clip art all over it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, yeah. I've used them a lot ever since I started up until today. I still use them. And then I recently got in contact with Ed Curry about sourcing some peppers from him because he said he could hook me up with some um, Reaper mash, and I don't think there's anyone better than Ed Curry to go to the source of the madness.
That's awesome. I actually have so the hot sauce fest here in New England, they have it in New Hampshire.
And Portsmouth.
Yes,
I love Portsmouth.
me too, man. So good, so good. I went to the first fest. I'm gonna go this summer as press, but
Hmm.
I went to the first one and they're having a Reaper eating contest,
Yeah,
and the all the Reapers were handpicked by Ed. So they were giving them out at the end, and I took one as the gnarliest one I can get, and I still have the seeds for it. Like I might grow it out, but I had a Reaper plant for like from Pucker, but I had it for probably 3 years, and then when I moved, I had to cut it down. It was just kind of sickly, but like, yeah,
yeah.
that's cool, man. You got in touch with him. He's a nice dude. I've like he had a live stream going, and I wrote something to him about one of his sauces, and he actually responded to me. He's like, "Yeah, I love that sauce. That's awesome."
Oh yeah, I spent the whole day with him in New York last year. Yeah, they invited me to be part of this show that they have called Hot Sauce Havoc. I don't know if you've watched the YouTube channel, but it's pretty entertaining. It's actually filmed at all of the hot sauce expos that they put on, and it's sort of like a Iron Chef style hot sauce making show where they take three of the vendors at these hot sauce expos and have you make a hot sauce with their random, selected ingredients that you you have the basket in front of you, you open it up, you're like, oh, there's the surprise ingredients, and then you run to the pantry and get more, and then you have 15 minutes to make a hot sauce. You got like 5 cameras running around you. It's like a real shoot, and then but the thing is, like 5 minutes into the 15 minutes, they spin this wheel, and if it lands on your color of your like knife, you have to eat like one of the spiciest things that Ed Curry makes. So the episode that I was doing, they had and it's about to air in a couple weeks. They're about to launch season 2. But the episode that I did was I was competing against the guy from Torchbearer Sauce, and I cannot remember the other sauce company, unfortunately. But we had raisins as the surprise ingredient, and I had just launched the Blazin Raisin. And then when they spun the wheel, well, maybe I should leave it as a cliffhanger because I don't know if it's gonna be launched. I think you're probably gonna beat them in the this video will come out before the episode, so I don't want to spoil it or whatever. But it was, I'll just say this, it got really intense when I spent the whole day with them, and they're good people. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to New York City this year and do the event, but I'm not gonna do Hot Sauce Havoc again because that was really stressful for me, like really stressful.
I can imagine. I can imagine they want to run a tight ship or something like that.
Oh, it's just like so intimidating with the extra hot stuff that they want to do, and I don't do that. And I mean, they called me when I landed in New York, and they were like, "We have an opportunity for you if you want to be part of this show." And I was just so stoked that I was like in New York, and I was bringing nukes across the country, and I was in this zone, and I was just like, "Screw it!" Like, yeah, let's do it. But then the next 3 days leading up to the shoot, I was just a nervous wreck. Like, I was asking my friend who used to eat reapers, like, what should I do to prepare? And he was like, dude, you need to start eating the spiciest things you can find every day to build your tolerance up. So I was like going to the store, and I hadn't even eat a habanero by itself before, and I'm a hot sauce maker. It's just not, I just don't do that. So I went to the store and I bought a bag of habaneros, and I just started eating a couple of them every single day leading up to the shoot because I was like, I might have to eat a reaper or whatever they're gonna make me do. And I'll let you watch the YouTube to see what happens.
Please, that's funny, dude. Yeah, eating habanero on its own is a pretty tough challenge because I've done that, and yeah, I don't like it. I had the one chip challenge once, dude, and
Uh-huh.
I hated that. That was disgusting. And so I ate it, and immediately my face was just like on fire. And then, I had like the boogers, the tears, the sweat looking like,
What? Let me ask you, why did you do that?
I don't know. I was kind of like chasing the dragon, I guess. I just want to, like see the hottest thing I could eat and if I could deal with it. I ate the whole chip.
Is it like a rush thing?
I guess so. I've never had an
Yeah.
endorphin high like that before. It was so crazy. But so what happened? Oh, so like I eat it, I cool down like 15 minutes later, and then about an hour later, dude, I feel it drop into my stomach. Like I felt it
Right.
fall down. And
Ouchie.
yeah, so everything I had felt in my face, I'm now feeling it inside of me. I just wanted to rip my stomach out, and
Yeah,
I ended
that's
up
not good.
going upstairs into the bathroom. I won't get too crazy with that, but let's just say
Right. No, I think we
I
can
I got
all
naked
together.
and kind of like curled up on the floor for a few like butt naked on the floor. It was so bad, dude.
Wow. You should have streamed that. Put that on your YouTube channel. I mean, you'd get a lot of views for sure.
It'd be embarrassing, I think. Maybe I'll do it
Yeah.
anyway. Um so like so you mentioned the New York Expo, right?
Yeah.
So like are expos and farmers markets and events kind of like your bread and butter at this point?
Thankfully, like we have a lot of different streams of income. So we do, I guess the business terms would be direct to consumer, would be the farmers markets and events when there's no second or third hand, getting their cut aside from the booth fees and the travel expenses. So that's definitely the bread and butter. We do so many events. We average like a couple, I think a couple hundred events throughout like May till the fall. So we go really hard, and thankfully I can do it because I have staff that's awesome. I have like four, maybe more trained people that are down to work, and sell hot sauce on the weekends or whatever. So yeah, we do that, but we also have the web store, which has just slowly been building since day one that I never really anticipated. And I mean, we get orders every day, and I'm just like, oh, I forgot that that was going to be a thing. I didn't even think about it. It just happens. And then we have, of course, grocery stores. So we're in probably around 90, I think 90 something stores at this point. Yeah, we just got into New Seasons, which is a natural food chain out here. I don't know if you know about them, but so there's a lot of different things going on. And then sometimes we get these like big bulk orders from subscription, like national subscription boxes. We just got into Bespoke Post for the third time. And Fuego Box was a company. I don't know if they're still a business, to be honest. I think there's some stuff going on with them right now, but they helped us start our company in a lot of ways because we within the first 3 months of business, they put in like a 1,200 bottle order. And at that point, I was only making like 50 bottles at a time. So that was major. And then they kept ordering a lot. So yeah, there's a lot of different legs in the business at this point. But obviously, the bills get paid mostly from working our tails off and doing in person events. And the other stuff is kind of just helping, build some level of security as in this weird world and economical times we're in right now. So
For real, bro. That's
yeah,
your eyes must have bulged when you got that order for 1,200 bottles.
yeah, it was cool. It was scary because it was big, and I didn't know how to do that. And I was doing it all in my apartment at the time, but I said yes, and I had no idea how I was going to do it. And I actually have one of the worst. I mean, I look back and laugh now, but I mean, it was like one of the worst experiences with Nukes. Like, was me trying to fulfill that order and going to a kitchen for the first time and renting it out. And I bought a big pot on the internet, and I thought I could do it all myself. And I didn't have much money at all at the time. Like, basically had enough money to like buy the ingredients and the bottles and the labels and ship this stuff, right? And so I did that. I spent all my money like on this batch, and I burnt it because I had never scaled up that big. And I was like, I needed to keep the temperature up, and I was trying to bottle, but I was like manic. I was like anxious. I was like, I'm something. I just felt really overwhelmed, really overwhelmed. And I burned it, and I had to dump it down the drain. And I went in the parking lot and I cried, and I was just like, I am screwed. Like, I just spent all my money. I can't do this alone. And it's due in New York in a month. I don't even know how to ship it. So I like, that was like, it's a learning curve. And then I woke up the next day and I was like, I'll figure this out. And I just went back into the 1 bedroom apartment and just kept cranking out small batches every single day until I finally hit the number. And then I palletized it and I shipped it from my garage. Those, so yes, it was exciting to get the 1,200 bottle order. Um, but it was also like a lot to take on at the time. Right now, we could do it like that. Like, duh. Like, we have it in stock right now. Like, please put in a 1,200 bottle order. It'd be great. Ship it tomorrow. But the early days was like those things, they're just mind boggling, like trying to figure that stuff out. Uh, but we did figured it out. It just a lot of learning curves for sure.
So I asked most of the questions that you had some fans send in, but we got one more question that I didn't get to yet that I wanted to
Okay.
ask, and that is,
Yeah.
did the origin of nukes come from mainly your trips to Mexico?
I always kind of trip up about that question, because it feels It feels sort of strange to say, like, I went to Mexico and then I came back and I like made sauces that are inspired by Mexico because for a lot of different reasons, right? Cultural appropriation being the main one, but I've just always loved food and like cheap street food when I'm traveling. I love to travel, and before Nuke started, I was going to Mexico a lot, and I was um just staying in hostels and kind of living in my backpack and jumping on trains and going to these little towns. And I worked in the theater world for a while, so I would like work like 3 months at a time on a show, and then it would wrap, and then I'd have like a month off before the rehearsals for the next show. And so then I would take that month and I would just like go to Mexico and live super cheap and just eat all the street food because it was like $1 for 3 tacos. It was like $10 at a hostel. It was like everything was cheap and fun. And I was just eating everything down there, and I just loved spicy food and naturally was eating a ton of sauces. So I think coming right back from that, I went to Boston and I saw my friend, and he was making this like raspberry habanero sauce. And I was fresh off of a trip from Mexico, and he was cracking me up because he's like an eccentric dude. He studied at Harvard and he was studying astrophysics, and he was showing me his hot sauce setup, and he had like all these big rubber gloves and a respirator, and he's just a funny guy, and it just was inspiring. And then I went back to Oregon and I decided to make a fruity hot sauce from talking to him, and that's when I made the banana habanero. So all those things mixed together made me make a hot sauce that then started Nukes. It was all just sort of a natural process from traveling and inspired by cooking and my friend who was making a sauce. So I hope that kind of answers the question, but it's always a hard one. It's always a hard one.
I think that answers it just fine, man. And it's funny. And Mexicans do love spicy stuff. So this girl I work with is actually Mexican, and she's like, "Hey, my mom made some salsa. Do you want some? I know you like hot stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." She's like, "All right, great." She made it with nice Mexican chilies, and she sent it to me, or she gave it to me yesterday. And I sit down, I get a nice big bowl of salsa and chips, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is like it was so hot, Jake." Like I was not expecting that at all. She may as well have used like ghost peppers or something in that, but I think it was just like guajillo chilies, dude. But man, so like I would be inspired too, eating all that good food all the time, man. Coming back,
Oh
I'd
yeah.
be so pumped on that.
Oh yeah.
So I think let's see, I think it's time to revisit these sauces again.
Oh, it's time to have a snack.
Think it's snack time, and for the viewers, I got the nice Nukes box, 5 bottle sauce pack, and we'll open it up. Everything's inside. We got Grillos, camera, right? Grillos, chocolate, banana reaper, blazin raisin, and smoky chipotle sauce. Get new, very cool design.
Thanks, my friend Matt Howell did that design, and I mean my friend Joe did the main Nukes logo. She's very talented, but Matt put it all together and created the 5 bottle box.
Actually, before we actually do that, I forgot. I wanted to highlight on your artists again.
Sure.
The camera going everywhere, but we got these like angry fruits and veggies.
Yeah, Marvin Velasco out of San Francisco. He's done at least 3 designs for us at this point. I love his style. Very like Garbage Pail Kids, like R. Crumb style, uh, fun cartoony world. Absolutely, yeah. She's the best. She's done quite a few things. A lot of like marketing stuff, like flyers, but she's also made some stickers. She does a skateboarding nukes bottle, a surfing bottle. Actually, a little deep lore on the surfing bottle. She drew that on the plane on an iPad once, and I was I don't know if you we seem like we're the same age, but I don't know if you played the video game. It was a 7 Up video game. It was called Cool Spot, and it was the little circle from the 7 Up guy surfing, and we use that. If you look at the surfing logo, the Nuke surfer and the 7-Up video game surfer, it's pretty much a head nod to that logo. It was Sega, yeah, yeah.
Got this one, so I'm just flashing some of your stickers here. The head explosion.
Yeah, it's Marvin Velasco. He's done the smirking bottle as well. He did the angry veggies. I think he's gonna. I'll probably hit him up for another design. We're working on a couple new fun designs right now for the new year. So yeah,
Then we got your classic design, and that this is a holographic sticker. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Joe Moyer Baddock. She's a Portland, Maine artist, and I'm from Maine. I used to live in Portland, Maine. We have a lot of mutual friends, and she is just very prolific, always drawing on Instagram. And I hit her up before Nukes even started, and I just asked her to draw me something spicy. Was what I said, because I just wanted to put something on the bottle, and she sent the logo over the next morning, and that was it. So just love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
Love
got
that
tons of
drawing
cool
she made.
merch, dude. Like I got the "Don't talk to me before I've had my nukes."
oh, good. I I can't remember what we sent you at this point, but I know I told Tom to hook it up. My friend Tom runs the web store now, so I just said hook him up.
Yeah, tons of stickers, the mug, the koozie. I'm gonna give the koozie, I think, to Joe.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, and I have a couple sauces for him as well.
Good.
But yeah, I just like, oh man, I wanted to touch back on those because the artists need the love, dude.
Well, how far are you from Portsmouth, New Hampshire?
Me, I live probably like 20 minutes away. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're at a store there now too, called Stock and Spice.
Oh, really?
She has I think she has our pickle sauce and the dill or the chipotle sauce.
Oh, cool, man. That's awesome. I'm glad
But I'll always send you sauce on the house as you're doing this interview.
you're the man.
No, I'm just a man.
You're a man. You're a man, man.
You're a man.
You're a man. I am gonna have a wing night soon, and my buddies are pumped to have these. So I've been trying not to eat them all, but I do. I like them. I've been eating them.
Good. I don't want it to be one of those sauces that just sits in the fridge forever and ever. It's like use that sauce.
No, no. So here we go. We're gonna start eating them again. Grillo's Pickles is up first. We'll go over the ingredients real quick, and we can talk about it. Grillo's brine, which is water, distilled white vinegar, salt. Grillo's pickles, jalapenos, cucumber, yellow onion, dill, habanero, and garlic. The habanero is kind of on the bottom there, and that's because there's not much of it. But this sauce, if well, I do remember it because I have been eating it. It is pretty spicy. I'll say, Jake, I wanted to use this as a relish. I think I have to mix it with something to make it a little thicker for that.
Yeah.
But that's not a criticism. It's an observation. So like I'm probably gonna mix it with something to thicken it because I do want to
Mhm.
eat it on hot dogs. Wicked bad.
Wicked bad. Yeah, I think with that sauce, you're right. The pickle brine thins it out a little bit, but I've noticed that once you go through just a little bit of it, maybe a quarter of the bottle, it's really can thicken up quite a bit. Sometimes when we make it, we've even had the co-packer be like, "This is almost like a paste. It gets so thick." He's like, "It's almost like a relish." So it depends. But yeah,
Maybe once the bottle's mostly through, then I do like I had it on salad and I just dumped it on, dude, and I noticed like
it's really nice in salad.
oh, it's so good. So we're gonna trusty spoon.
And I know you are a Grillo's pickle fan already, but so you already know like their pickle brine in itself. I actually bought a jar yesterday, and like on the drive home with my fiance, I opened it up and I was sipping the brine right out of it in the car. She was like shaming me. She was like, "You're eating pickles in the car? Like that's crazy." I was like, "It's Grillo's pickles. Like let me get my fix."
Fix, homie. This is the stuff. No, this stuff's awesome, dude.
It really is.
Like dill forward. The more I eat it,
They're the best. I say it without any issue. I say it confidently.
Oh yeah, now yeah, I can see there's like little like, even when I put in the camera, you can see all the stuff in there. It's really nice. It is hot. It's not mega hot. I would agree with this like thermometer on the side. It's like halfway there. Um, but
It's a crowd pleaser. It's not too crazy, but then there's always, I would say, some people think it's really hot, but it's not.
it's not compared to other things.
Yeah.
I'll say like everything else in the box is much hotter than this. And that's even chocolate, which is the next one we're gonna try. Um there's no thermometer on this, but I can tell you all it's pretty hot.
Yeah, the guys at Chocolate Skateboards did the graphic design on that. I didn't have much creative control over the label other than, um, you know, what had to go on for FDA reasons. But
It's good.
yeah,
So the ingredients for this guy: apple cider vinegar, water, blackberries, raisins, molasses, onion, roasted garlic, chipotle peppers, salt, cocoa powder, cinnamon, black pepper, chocolate habanero powder, chocolate Carolina Reaper powder. All right. Smells great. I love this one, man. I had this
yeah,
yeah, I do. I really do like it.
I think it's my favorite one right now.
Yeah, it's a bomb. I did a pulled chicken sandwich with it, and
Oh,
I
nice.
did a couple pulled chicken sandwiches with it, and I ended up pouring more on it.
We have converted anti-raisin people with that sauce. People will be like, I don't like raisins, and then they have it, and they're like, I like that sauce. So
You don't have to like raisins to enjoy this.
there's a lot of raisins in there. But that one's almost got a mole meets a steak sauce meets a blackberry jam kind of world. It's very different, but there's a lot of depth and a lot of flavor in that one.
It is good. It's sweeter. Um, there's heat to it. I like that you can taste the seeds in there. Um, yeah, no, this is definitely up there for me, man. I love this one. And it's
Mm.
thicker too. It's like, we just tried the dill pickle one and it was very much like it was a very loose sauce, but this one is just kind of straight out the gate, pretty thick, very pourable, uh super fruity. Let's try another one.
Yeah.
Eh,
I'm just watching you eat. So,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I like this one. Wow.
which one is that?
That's chocolate.
Okay, yeah. And that is the limited edition bottle. We're going to sell out of that in the next couple months. So that was a fun collab with Chocolate Skateboards based out of California. That one was uh, a little different because usually I will contact a band or it just naturally happens from friends, but they actually reached out to us and I never skateboarded, so I didn't have a lot of skin in the game. But I have a lot of friends who skate. I used to BMX a little bit, but yeah, I got on the phone with Rick Howard, who started Girl Skateboards and Chocolate Skateboards 30 years ago, and he threw the whole idea out, and I loved it. So it was really easy to get that one off the ground. They were awesome to work with. So
Yeah, I haven't skated since I was like a kid, but I do have tech decks.
there you go. Yeah.
When I'm sitting here bored, like on my own time, I'll just like play with my tech decks. Um,
Nice.
Can you actually do tricks with those things?
nah, I kind of suck.
Yeah. I don't, I've never, my friend Zach can do tricks with it. I was like, wow, you're actually good at that. I didn't know people could.
A friend of mine has a YouTube channel and he makes videos of him doing tech deck stuff. It's pretty dope. I'll send it to you after. It's super fun. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
Next up, dude, we're gonna revisit the Banana Reaper. This is the extra hot version. The other one is called Kinda Mild.
Yes, sir. You got it. You nailed it. And it's your favorite one still? Favorite nukes?
Oh yeah, 100%. And we'll look at the thermometer real quick. Camera, stop it. Up there. It's up there. It's not completely full, but it is up there, and it is hot.
You were saying that you have a bunch of like positive memories attached to this sauce, which was like the best, probably like the best thing I could have ever asked for a review from
Oh
someone.
no, I love that. Yeah, so for context, I would have these wing nights with my friends and we would just kind of like try all the sauces that we had, dump them on, toss them, eat a wing, put the sauce to the side and go to the next. And we always were pumped to try Nukes. It was probably one of the first ones that we would take and eat with, but we wouldn't ever revisit sauce because we call it running the gauntlet. And what we've done a couple times is we had set like numbered each bottle of sauce up to like 20 and would roll a
Hmm.
20, like a D20.
Oh wow.
You get hot or not, you don't know what you're going to get. And then we would discard it after. And then if we rolled the same number, we would roll again. So yeah, that's part of the memory I have of Nukes 2021, 2022 when I lived in Manchester with my friend. So yeah, I love this sauce, dude. And like my friends also remember this sauce and they're pumped to try the other ones. I was talking to them the other day about it. I sent them the video I did of the tasting and they
Uh-huh.
said, you're like, oh, when's the next wing night? So cool
Nice.
bomb. So all right.
Oh yeah.
Spicy baby food, clean spoon.
Get in there.
This one's
But
actually really hot, dude. Like it is.
I think it's pretty damn spicy. Bananas with habanero and Carolina Reapers, a little bit of agave nectar to help sweeten it.
Yeah, the agave nectar definitely stands out. I can definitely try it, and I can point that flavor out now because I
mhm,
tried another sauce the other day from someone else, and they use agave nectar. So
I love it.
it was just very funny, dude, because I like went to try it theirs, and it was like a jalapeno reaper sauce
Mm,
with agave in it, and I was like, "Wow, that's sweet! Wow!" It like totally freaking got me.
damn.
Yeah, that's wow, that's hot, dude. I'm gonna do it.
I haven't had anything like super super hot in a while. It actually sounds pretty good. I have this one chili paste from this company called Miso Heat.
Wow,
I think that's the company name. It's either that's the company name or the product's name. But I've had it in the fridge for like over a year. It's that hot where you just need to add a little bit of something. Remember the first time I had it, it was overwhelmingly spicy, and now I use it quite often, and it's perfect. I love that. I love that stuff. Yeah,
that's hot, bro.
it's hot, man. I figure we have to have at least one sauce in the line to be really spicy if we have a hot sauce company.
Yeah, you got a couple.
Yeah, I think the extra hot Chipotle is right up there too in the spice department.
Same with the Blazin Raisin. We're gonna try that one next, but I'm gonna have to cool down for a second, dude. Because like my tongue is like
What do you put that one on?
what?
The banana, yeah,
I've always done wings with it.
wings. That makes sense. It's good on pizza, I feel like. Pizza, burritos. I even put it in ramen noodles, which sounds weird because it has a sweetness, but the spice really is what.
There's so many kinds of ramen that are sweet, dude.
Mm.
Um, banana sauce on pizza though reminds me of Doug Funny when they make the banana pizza.
Doug
Doug
Funny.
Funny.
I
Doug,
feel like Doug Funny would not be down with hot sauce. Skeeter would be like way down, but Doug would just be like a little baby.
Roger would be the biggest baby.
That's true.
Blazin Raisin,
Blazin Raisin, extra hot, baby.
same ingredients as chocolate, but hot.
Get in there. Don't be shy. Do it for the people. Do it for the entertainment value.
The entertainment. If I were really doing that, I'd be drinking the bottle, man. I'm just not that kind of human.
I'm assuming since you're pretty plugged into this whole world, you know Johnny Scoville.
Yeah.
There's a video of him. He also really likes that banana habanero Carolina Reaper. There's a video of him taking swigs off of it.
Yeah, he's crazy, man. He
He loves bananas, so I didn't know that when I sent it to him, and then he was just like,
chugs bottles. I watched him and this dude Mike Jack also chugs bottles. And I saw Mike Jack eat 60 Carolina Reapers in person once.
It's bizarre.
I just got to
I
try the
mean,
raisin. That was crazy.
Nice. Your lucky day.
It is.
All natural.
It's really good. It tastes just like the other one. Maybe it was berry. No, so all right, I did get it backwards last time. Chocolate seemed a little more berryish to me. Don't know
okay.
why. Don't know why. Nothing wrong with that. Not a
Mhm.
criticism, an observation. But I like them both. They do taste the same though, right? They taste because it's the same recipe. I just don't know why the blackberries shine out more at the other one. Maybe the heat just kind of overtakes it with this. But
Oh
it's
yeah,
really it's
that
bomb.
should be that checks out. Yeah, the hot one should be more pepper forward, and the other one should be a little fruitier.
It's good and it's very thick. Again, as you can see. I like it. Can't wait to use it at wing night, which I'm gonna record. I'm gonna do a whole
Mm.
episode of wing night with my homies, dude.
Awesome. You should get the die out and roll the die.
That's the plan, man. That's the plan.
Sounds fun. I might have to fly in for that.
Dude, I would love that.
I tried to get in on this Portsmouth hot sauce expo, but I guess they were only doing New England hot sauce companies, so I respect it. I tried. I'm in that weird zone because I'm from Maine and I still have this 207 area code and I'm doing Maine events and I'm actually talking to a lot of co-packers and kitchens in Maine. Not co-packers, but kitchens. I'm trying to do some production in Maine. But that's long term. That's long term stuff.
Right, right. That's cool. Yeah, I talked to a couple other dudes the other day, and they're from Florida. They're called Stanky Sauce. Really, really
Yeah,
good
yeah,
stuff. But they tried to get on the fest too, and nope, New England only. So,
yeah.
but
I
I
respect
mean,
that.
yeah, that's what they said too. They respect that. I get it. I get it. But I think there's a Boston hot sauce fest too.
We did the first year of that. It was a lot of fun. I mean, we were partying. Like we were we were loud. The Newks booth was a party. But I had the Grillo's gang there. I had my old friends from the hardcores days and the metal days, and it was just a big old get together. But oh, it was a lot of fun. But it was kind of a slow one because it was the first year, so we didn't go back. But I might do more. I love New England. I miss it over there, and my family's there, so I'm trying to set myself up there with the company a little bit more. Got quite a few things actually this year lined up in Maine and New York City, so yeah, it'll be cool.
Dude, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'll try to make it out to something you're at, dude. I'd love to meet up.
For sure.
Lastly, we have the Smokey Chipotle, and it lives up to the name. This one is very hot,
Smokey Chipotle extra hot.
extra hot. Little tiny thermometer.
It's really tiny. We're also rebranding right now. Like, I mean, rebranding is in redesigning the labels, so the thermometers are going to be a little bit bigger.
Okay. All right. Ingredients: white vinegar, jalapeno peppers, beets, serrano, peppers, tomatoes. Oh, serrano peppers. I'm a goober. Tomatoes, water, apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, onion, purple cabbage, chipotle peppers, Carolina Reaper pepper, lime juice, garlic, Himalayan sea salt. So I want to note that all of your sauces are pretty unique. I don't think I've ever seen purple cabbage or beets in a hot sauce before. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of question it. They see at our stand they're like beets, cabbage. I'm like, just try it. I mean, it's root vegetables. It's earthy. It's got a great color. They're all purple vegetables, so it's got this nice like dark purple brown color to it. It's a little smoky. I feel like that's our most versatile sauce. Maybe the medium version, not the extra hot, but I put that on everything. I think overall that's my most used one. I put in chilies, stir fries, rice and beans, that kind of thing. But
It's really good. Last few times I tried it, I liked it a lot. All right, let's do it. Oh yeah, this one's the thick guy.
It's a thick one.
Pickies. Oh no. Oh no.
What happened?
Oh, I have a giant poop. It's just I have a lot.
That's
That's
good.
good.
So we're gonna make the most of it. It's the last one, right? Gotta go out with a bang, and it's the honest one.
It's a hot sauce channel. You're about to eat some hot sauce. Get in there. Like most Reaper-oriented sauces, it's that slow burn where it's gonna slowly kind of ascend,
It's
And just
hang on your palate for a little bit.
all in my nose.
You could put that in a hummus or a sour cream, stir it around.
You know what? Yes, I would even like glaze meat with this after grilling it. Like that's a good grill sauce, dude, because it's thick enough where it won't just like burn up on it, and it's got
it
a
is.
nice amount of material in it still. Like it is thick.
It's good on barbecue. I think it would be pretty expensive to use it as a marinade. A lot of people ask, like, to use it as a marinade. And it's like I would recommend maybe getting a cheap barbecue sauce and then adding that in there until you get that spice level to where you want it, and then you're like, then you're
100%. And if you really just want to straight up use that sauce, like Jake said, it is expensive to use for that purpose. Just brush it on, put a little in a bowl, and just brush it on because it's so flavorful that if you let it like cook onto something, it's not gonna kill the flavor at all. That's really, really good. But I ate a really big spoon, so I'm not gonna eat a second one. I'm like, "Rah," right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I'm not a shock jock, so
Good.
but hey man. Well, my face is burning up. Why don't you tell everyone where we can find you in your hot sauce?
Yeah. Find me personally. You can find me walking around Portland, Oregon, eating food and drinking coffee. But newkssauces.com is the website to order. People who are just trying it for the first time can use a code my first nukes. That's the biggest discount we have. And then Instagram is where we hang out most of the time to connect with people, and that should be pretty easy to find. It's Newks Hot Sauce. So yeah, that's where we're at. And then our website will have a bunch of upcoming events. We just did some remodeling of the site or whatever, so the calendar is going to be updated with every event going forward. We're about to pick up and do a lot of work, a lot of stuff going on. So lots of opportunities, East Coast and West Coast, to say what's up in person. So
What's up?
what's
What's
up?
up?
Well, thanks so much for your time, dude. I'm glad we got to redo this. The first one was a little bit of a bust, though it was very fun and nice to talk to you. I'm glad that this will be a little more easy to watch for people. So thanks, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, man. It was fun chatting, and I'm glad we did it again for sure. So.
Time. Peace out, everyone.